Etsy news, there's bugs, there's updates, shops seem to be getting closed down. And are we getting some warnings ahead of the Q1 financial report with some strange goings on? It's Etsy News. It's your place for all the updates. Let's get into it. So, first of all, we have had some sellers in the US. Oh, hay fever, allergies in my eyeballs. Some sellers in the US talking, although the tariffs should not, I don't believe they're in just now, or they just happened, or I've lost track with tariffs. But some people said this was at the beginning of the week. They'd ordered some of their supplies in, and yes, ouch, they were getting charged a lot more if their supplies were coming in through the UPS. So be aware. You could be getting stung without realizing you're going to be getting stung, and your customers could be getting stung if you're shipping to the US. I think, yeah, be careful. Just nothing we can do about this. It is what it is, but just be aware. So Etsy's just dropped some big updates. For more details on this, I actually covered it with my friend Starla Moore over on the eRank channel on the live last week. I was going to share some of my screenshots just now, but I've just put my shop on vacation mode, so I don't actually get to see them. But there's quite a lot. Photo editing tools. The shop manager is supposed to be streamlined. I don't think it's a very big deal. Visibility page, if you go to your shop visibility, what I think's nice is at the top now, they've picked out 3 or 4 of your top listings that have the lowest hanging fruit, the things you could work on to change. So that's super handy. And they are talking about improved support for everyone in the main countries that Etsy sellers are in: US, UK, Canada, Australia. I can't remember all the places, but we are all going to have access to Etsy support all the time, as are all-star sellers and some in the other countries, some top sellers just now, and then they're rolling out to everyone. So more Etsy support. Hopefully, there's usually teething problems when they rush out a load of extra support. It's usually support workers who haven't necessarily been as fully trained as they need to be yet, or they've bumped up the AI system, so you might actually not get the best support and have to. My advice is always with the support, you're going to get hit with an AI first. That's the same everywhere now. So click through the AI things that you're not answering my question, and then you'll get a live person. Repeat your question to that live person. If they answer it, great, but chances are, again, they're going to hit you with some pre-programmed replies again. They'll see roughly what you were talking about and just hit you with a pre-programmed reply, which probably won't answer your question. You've got to dig in again, try and not get mad, just reiterate your question, point out how they haven't answered it. And that'll happen probably again. And just calmly keep repeating your question as they keep not answering your question. And hopefully either they'll be able to answer your question or they'll push you up the food chain, which means you'll probably get an email from someone later on. It's a pain, but it is what it is. Anyway, so this is the Streamlined Dashboard. In reality, they've moved who favorited who and all that kind of thing into a different tab. So yeah, it's improving. They also say a lot of pages are loading faster, especially on the app. Here's a look at your custom photo filters. Jessica, I stole your screenshot because I haven't seen it yet. It's cool. I want to give a warning. You can have custom filters for your photo edits, but as my friend Starla said in the eRank Live, be aware. It's nice to be able to, when you take a picture, you usually have to edit the picture that you've taken. What comes out of your camera, what comes out of your phone is not necessarily good, and it's good, but it needs edited. However, be careful not to over edit pictures so they no longer represent what you have. You want to edit them so they look more like what you see, not so they look amazing. Preset photo. This looks like Etsy is giving us. Well, it says custom, so we should be able to do them ourselves. This looks like they're giving us some pre-selected filters. If it works for you, great. How custom filters on other editing software works well is if you're taking photos all in the same area, all lit the same, all with your camera or phone or whatever in the same settings, then when you come to edit it, you probably want to make the same tweaks over and over again. So it's nice to just apply all to all your photos and not have to just repeat that. So that's helping out. Also, there is some photo editing ability in your Etsy listing manager in the photo section. That is very handy because sometimes, especially with phones and things, they take good enough pictures. You maybe just want to bump up the brightness a little bit. Again, don't overdo it, but we have some more options when you're photo editing in Etsy, which is good. Oh, sorry, very blurry. But some people are now reporting also in their listing photos, if they didn't have alt text filled in, Etsy is pre-filling it with AI. This is causing a lot of confusion because a lot of people are using their alt text to SEO optimize, and that's not what it's there for. It's to describe what is there for a partially sighted person. So the AI is actually doing quite a good job of saying that's some beads, that's a coffee cup or stuff, and people are getting mad going, that's not how I would have done it. AI is not perfect, so always double check it, but potentially you were getting too keyword stuffy in your alt text anyway. Just look at describing what the image is. I haven't been able to confirm if this is true or false, but thank you, Jan, for sharing this with me. On the Reddit, people are now saying that buyers can change or edit their reviews even after you've responded. So the ability to lock in reviews is potentially no longer there. So let me know if you're seeing this. Now, my thoughts on this. Firstly, a lot of people reply to good reviews to lock them in. So it's a kind of good thing that forces you into good customer service, I guess, because it's always nice to respond to a review. So people won't like this because then customers can come back and change their mind, which I don't think is an awful thing. If a customer's given you a great review when they first got the item, when Etsy started bugging them for a review, and then you lock it in, but then 2 days later they find out that the item has fallen to pieces, it wasn't well enough made, it's good if they can come in. It's not good for the individual seller, but it's good for the experience of Etsy. But the other way around is a lot of people who've left a negative review, what can happen is a new seller might respond to it without realizing that that locks it in. So they actually dealing with the customer, they're talking to the customer and they manage to sort things out, but they're stuck with a negative review. So that's kind of good. It will be interesting to see if this makes any difference, because what happens is, even if you didn't lock it in, if a buyer changes their review, that doesn't change your stats. It doesn't change it at the back end for Etsy, so you still have that negative review sort of held against you. Anyway, yeah, let me know if you see that. It's been a couple of weeks now, people have been talking about issues with variations in checkout, which basically means if you've got, what I was hearing was people who've got variations set at different price points, customers were going in and buying something, the variation that should be more expensive, and getting charged the cheaper rate. Etsy finally noticed that yesterday. They're implementing a fix on that. So yeah, they were gaslighting people in the chat a couple of weeks ago, saying no, it's not really a problem, and then started saying yes, we think there's an issue, you need to cancel your sale or whatever. If A lot of people are worrying that they're going to have to rework all their old listings. They've got thousands and thousands of listings with variations. No, this is a bug. Etsy needs to fix it. We don't need to fix it. It is absolutely a pain if you're making a lot of sales, but hopefully Etsy will fix it. They've identified the bug. That's a good start. Now, this is just a gut feeling by me, but, well, it's not just a gut feeling. In the Etsy forums, I searched for Etsy shop suspended and filtered by the last week, and there is a higher number of people saying their shops are suspended. Now, often, well, always, when people are crying about this, the vast majority of them, their shops are shut down for a very good reason. My friend Starla Moore looked into this. She was helping a lot of sellers. She had a good contact at Etsy for a little while, and she said, if your shop's been shut down, I'll get them to look into it. But the vast majority of people that messaged her saying my shop was shut down, I was doing nothing wrong, they were doing things wrong. So we know if there's a lot of shouting, it doesn't always mean there's an issue, but I have seen a lot of people, my shop's been shut down, my shop's been put in vacation mode since the 1st of April, but definitely in the last week. But also, a lot of them are coming back within a few days and saying, oh, it's just suddenly back up. We didn't do anything. We were still trying to figure out how to contact Etsy. So, and there's some big shops, and yeah. Okay, it's better at this time of year. They do this at Christmas too, and it's really not good, but it's better. It's not good. As an oopsie, they shut down your shop, suspended with a notice saying this is final, nothing you can do, and then you appeal it and just magically the shop comes back. But you've lost attraction to your competitors. You have had even just a few days without getting sales for some of the bigger shops. I mean, 55,000 sales. You're making enough sales that your competitors in a few days have made a load of sales. So when Etsy opens your shop again, you're back of the pile. So Etsy has basically gone, oopsie, we just throttled your shop. Hopefully you'll get back. It's no difference apart from the heart attack, but it's no difference than being on vacation for a couple of days. So get some of your social media followers, get your mailing list, do a quick sale or something. If you have that many followers, that's likely to work, just to get the sales back up again. Interesting one. Now, the Etsy quarterly report is happening in about 4 or 5 days. I will be a little late to talk about this. If you're waiting for me to talk about this, I'm having a little break myself. Etsy decided to do this earlier than I expected, so I will talk about this in a couple of weeks. But the quarterly results will be out next Wednesday or on Wednesday or Thursday. And there's usually little things beforehand, so that all the new updates, the pretty dashboard, the photo editing. But also, Etsy is selling Reverb. So Etsy, like 2 years ago, Etsy had 4 companies under its brand. It had Etsy, Reverb, ELO7, and Depop. ELO7 got sold a year or so ago, and now Reverb has got sold. Now, ELO7 got sold because it never did as well as Etsy was anticipating it was going to do. They figured it was a lame duck, so they got rid of it. Reverb now is it necessarily fits in with Etsy's brand? Well, it kind of could be. It's a place you can buy and sell used musical items. So, yes, kind of cool. But from the last year's financial results, Reverb seemed to be doing quite well. So, speculation here, but the sale of this will go through in next quarter's financials. So are they just wanting a little boost to the money going on? It will absolutely mess up my graphs, because when we're calling out the number of sellers, the GMS and everything, Etsy quotes it for Etsy, the family of platforms, rather than just Etsy. So with Reverb gone, but all of the other platforms were just little. So Etsy is now just Etsy and Depop. and it's a couple of investors from Fender and SoundCloud. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. This is not Etsy, but well, it certainly could be. I just saw this last night. A Sydney woman who sold a cartoon cat t-shirt has to pay $100,000 in a Grumpy Cat copyright case. This was on Redbubble. She sold one t-shirt and made around $1 for the t-shirt. And she didn't even know there was a problem until she had $600 removed from her PayPal account. She went in to figure out what was going on, and she'd been hit with the Grumpy Cat case. And a lot of other people have apparently been hit with that, and it's a flat $100,000 fine to everybody who's got caught up in it. Now, hopefully this has made the news, and Alda, interesting name, cool. Alda hopefully won't have to pay this, because that is ridiculous over exaggeration. Wanting $100,000 for a $1. Yeah. I did dig into this more, and what is kind of worse, in Redbubble you can sell things that you've just bought a design, slap it on a t-shirt, you can sell it. She had, as they called it, licensed the design, so she'd purchased it from somewhere else that had you could use it for selling. So she purchased a design, put it on a t-shirt in her Redbubble shop, and is now getting very scary very scary moment. So definitely be aware, guys. And I that got the things thinking, and I wonder if there's any Grumpy Cat things on Etsy, and if they would be so dumb as to tag them with Grumpy Cat as well. Not tagging doesn't make you not infringing, just makes you easier to find. So I searched for Grumpy Cat. Yep, I think there's definitely some of those are probably likely to be infringing. So if you have Grumpy Cat things, you can definitely get sued for it. Interesting. Anyway, that's it for this week. There will be no Etsy news next weekend, and I won't be covering the financial reports till a little bit later. But anyway, if I miss anything next week while I'm enjoying myself, drop me a message, let me know what Etsy's up to, and I'll fill you in with an extra bumper double episode in a couple of weeks' time. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.